with me here I have this satin fabric. Okay, this is 1 yard of the satin fabric. So from the style we have there is pleating place on the chest area, and also is being used on the collar. Okay, so this is the fabric, the Ankara fabric we are going to use to cut out this our shirt dress. Okay, so with me I have just 2 yards for the fabric, for the style in particular. That is 2 yards. Okay, so right now we are going to, first of all, we'll cut out the back. So I'm going to fold this into 2. I'll first of all cut out the back, after which I will use it to cut the front. Okay, so the fabric has been folded into 2 like so. So I'll go ahead and create out our starting line, which is at this point. Then to determine the folding, okay, the length of the folding, what I did was to use the highest body circumference, which is the hip. My hip circumference is 39. Into 4 I have 9.75. okay, I went ahead and marked 9.75 like so, and added extra 2 inches. Okay, so I still have a little left out. So that's how to determine the amount or the length of your folding in a horizontal form. So now what we are going to do now is to take a full length of the dress, which is 39 inches. So I'll mark 39 inches like so. I went ahead and added extra 2 inches. Okay, extra 2 inches. Half inch will be for folding at the shoulder area, while 1.5 inch will be for folding at the lower hem. So I'll go right there and make it a straight line. So I made it a straight line like so. So then what we have there is 41 inches. So from the starting line, our shoulder measurement is 14. Into 2 we have 7 inches. I marked 7 inches. Okay, so because it's going to have a sleeve, I'll add it up just half inch. So what we have there is 7.5. From this point I'll come down 1 inch for the shoulder drop. Then for the neck width, our neck width will be, I'll be making use of 3 inches. I'll be making use of 3 inches neck width. Remember I said we are cutting the back. Okay, the neck width 3 inches, the neck depth, what I have here for the back, I'll be taking down just 1 inch. Okay, that's for the neck depth. So I'll curve it like so. That's for our back neck depth. So from here now I'll connect this to meet our neck width. So that's it. So from this our starting line, I'll take down the vertical measurement, which is I'll take down the waist, our half length, or the waist rather, we have 16 inches. So for the hip, from the shoulder to our hip is 24 inches. Okay, shoulder to our hip is 24 inches. So I mark down 24 inches. I'll create a straight line. So we have the waist and we have the hip. Okay, so remember I said this is the back bodice. You know, the back for the shirt dress, we don't add, and there's no zipper. Okay, there's no zipper allowance at the back. So but we will be adding the sort of the blanket allowance in the front while cutting the front. So what I will do now is, from the shoulder drop for the armhole depth, I'm going to come down 7 inches. 14, I said our shoulder is 14. To 2 we have 7, so I'll mark down 7 inches like so. So I'll connect it from this point to this point. Okay, so I'll come in at this angle 1 inch. So now for the shed, here is their chest line now, and that is where we're going to take our bust measurement. So our bust circumference is that is 35 into 4, we have 8.75. I'm going to mark 8.75 like so. Then I'll add extra 2 inches. Okay, we are going to turn it with lining. So now for the waist is 32 inches divided by 4, we have 8 inches like so. For the waist, I'm going to add 1 inch for that, and the extra 2 inches for seam allowance. So I'll connect it like so. Okay, also for at the hip area, the hip circumference we have 39 into 4, we have 9.75. So I'll add extra 2 inches. Okay, so I'm going to connect this here to this point and to the chest line area. So I'll connect it like so from this point to this. Okay, here at the waist area, you just have to curve it. Okay, it's not supposed to be sharp. So that's that. So what next I will do now is from the hip area, I'll take it all the way down. Okay, in a straight line. If you wanted something pencil, okay, at the at the lower hem, just have to come in just maybe 1 inch. But for this tutorial, I want it just straight. Okay, for easy movement. So I think that's all for our measurement. What I will do now is to cut the neckline area and whatever. I'm going to cut it right now. Here we have our back bodice. So I'm going to fold in for our front bodice right now. So now for the front bodice, okay, I've gone ahead and folded our fabric into 2. And at this blanket area, I went ahead and measured out. This is where the button is going to be. So to create that button placket, I went ahead and measured out 2.5 inches. Okay, you could make yours 3 inches, 2.5, depends on how you want it to be. So for this tutorial, I measured out 2.5 inches all the way up. So I've placed it this way. Here is the back, and here is our button placket, measured out 2.5 inches. Okay, all the way down. So what I will do now, the difference now is the neckline depth. Okay, and also the armhole for the front is going to be deeper. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to, at this point, I'll mark out, this is our neck width. Okay, and I'll trace out the shoulder drop or shoulder slant. Okay, so now this is our neck width. So what I'm going to do for the neck depth, I'm going to come down 2.5 inches. Okay, for our neck depth. So I'll connect it like so. I'll connect it all the way down. So here we have 2.5. So I'm going to connect it this way. I'll curve it in such a way. You can come in at this point 1 inch. Okay, at that angle 1 inch, then you now curve it to meet the neck width. So that's for our front neck depth. Then for the armhole, I'm going to trace out the back armhole like so. I'll trace it out to a shoulder drop. So I'll take it up. So at this point, the front armhole is always deeper, so I'll take out the midpoint. The midpoint is 7, that is 3.5 inches. At this point I'll come in just half inch, okay. That one could be 0.75, that is 3/4 inch, but here I came in half inch. So I'm going to connect it to meet at this point. This is where I'm going to cut for the front bodice. So that's it for the armhole. So that is the only difference. The bottom placket, okay, then the neckline and the armhole. So I'm going to cut this out right now. So I'll take it up. So here we have the back and the front. So I'm going to notch here right now. I'll notch the button bracket. So I gave it a notch and I'm going to cut it out. Okay, I'll slit it into 2. So I'll slit it into 2 like so. Like it. So for this tutorial, I'll be cutting off this our bottom bracket, okay. So I'll be using this satin fabric to replace it, okay, to bring out more beauty on it. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to leave some from this notch part. I'm going to come in 0.25, it could be half inch, okay, but I'll be coming in 0.25. This will serve as our allowance, okay, for joining it to the satin fabric. And on the satin fabric, I'm going to cut exactly the allowance that we have here, which is 2.5 inches, okay. I'm going to cut 2.5 inches of the same length of the dress, while the width will be 2.5 inches, while the length will be the same length, okay. So I'm going to cut it out and show us, then insert our interfacing on it, okay. While here I'm going to come in 0.25, okay, like so. I'll come in 0.25 all round. So here I wouldn't cut it, okay. While cutting, I'll cut only on this point, then now cut out. So I'm going to cut it out and show us now. So now I've gone ahead and cut it. I slitted it into 2, okay, leaving 0.25 allowance for joining the satin to the Ankara fabric, okay. Okay, so earlier I demonstrated how, for the interest of those that wouldn't want to add another fabric as a placket, okay, as a bottom placket, I've done that. So I've slitted it into 2, okay. So now I've also gone ahead and cut out our satin fabric of the same length of that of the dress. Then for the width, I increased the width. I made it 3 inches, okay, because I'm going to slit it into 2. One will be, unfold is 3 inches. So we have 3 inches here. So, and I've also gone ahead and I inputted a satin, okay, and interfacing on it. So I'm going to slit it into 2 right now. Let's see what I mean. So here it is, we have 2 now. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to fold it into 2 like so, and also iron it out. I'll fold it in 2 and iron, okay, into 2 equal half, and iron it out and show us. I've slitted it into 2 like so, okay. So what we have here is 1.5 inches. Remember, here is the wrong side and this is the right side. So on the wrong side, okay, I'll flip it this way. I'll place it like so and stitch all the way down using 1/2 inch, okay? 1/2 inch we marked out for the satin. After that, I will turn it to the right side, okay? It will be in this form. It will be in this form, okay? It will be in this form. So I'm going to fold it using 1/2 inch as well, okay, on top of it. Then I will stitch in a straight line, in a clean manner, okay, to the end of the dress, okay. After stitching on it, what we left out is just 1 inch. That was why I added extra. No, remember it was 2.5 inches. I did extra 1/2 inch, so that by the time we join 1/2 inch on this side and 1/2 inch on this side, we'll be left with 1 inch. I wouldn't want it to be small, okay. So that was why I increased it. So I'm going to do this now and show us how it looks. So now I've gone ahead and cut out a lining for this piece because I want to put a lining. And even if you don't want to put lining, you go straight to join the placket. But for this purpose, I'll be putting lining. So I've cut lining for this, the exact length, okay? So what I want to do now, I remember during our measurement, I did not come in at this angle. I want to give it a shape, a pencil shape. So what I will do, together with the lining, I'm going to come in 1 inch, okay? All the way from this point to the hip area. So I'll connect it like so. From this point to the hip line area, I just have to take it all the way down. This is the front bodice. So I will just trim it off to give it that pencil, slight pencil shape. So that's that for the lower hem. Then also for the lining, remember we added 2 inches extra. So and I said I'm going to use 1/2 inch to join to the shoulder and 1.5 to turn it at the lower hem. So I'm going to mark 1.5 here, 1.5 inches here, like so, 1.5 inches. So I'll cut it off, okay. So that's that for our front bodice. So for the back, also I've cut the lining as well, the same length. So what I did to the side, I'll also do to the side of the back bodice. So what I will do now is I'm going to come in 1 inch, okay, like so, to give it that slight pencil shape. So I'll come in 1 inch at this point. So I'll measure 1 inch here. So I'll connect it all the way to the hip. I'll trim it off. So that's the shape. Then also on the lining itself, only on the lining, I'm going to mark 1.5 inch. Okay, because I want to use the lining to turn the Ankara fabric, or to fold it rather. So I'll come in 1.5 inch like so, then I'll cut it, okay. So that's that. So I'm going to fold it now. I'm going to fold it this way. Here we have our back bodice. I'll take one, right side facing each other. This is the right side. Right side of the Ankara facing the right side, okay? So I'm not going to, this side I'm going to put the placket. I'm not going to close it in. What I'm going to do now is to one side, only on this side, okay? I'm going to close it, right side facing each other. But before then, I will fold, before folding, closing in the side, I'm going to close here, the lower hem, using 1/2 inch. Then I'll flip it, okay? I will extend it up and now close the sides only. Then I will turn it to the other side before closing this on the right side. Before closing this on the right side. So also on the front bodice. Let me use the front bodice. Right side facing each other. This is the right side. So also on the back bodice. This is the back bodice. Why that is the front. So also on the back bodice. Right side facing each other, okay? What I'm going to do now, remember there's going to be a collar on the neck. So we are not going to close the neck. What I'm going to do on the back side, I'm going to just close in the side, okay? But before closing in the side, I'll first of all extend the lining to the lower hem. I'll close it at this point, then now drag it up and close the side, then flip it to the right side. So I'm going to do this and show us. On the side like so, okay? And also close the hem it with the lining. So at this point, the neckline area, I did not close it, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to stitch using 1/4 inch on it, okay? There's going to be a collar on it. So also for the front bodice, I've gone ahead and joined the side, just the two sides. Then at this place that there's going to be a band or a placket, I did not close it. What I did was to flip it to the right side and just close it using just 1/4 inch, okay? At this point, just 1/4 inch. So what I've also joined close the lower hem. So what I'm going to do now is to fix in the bottom placket right there on this side. Just watch what I'm doing. You can do it this way using 1/2 inch, okay, to join here. What we need to do is to just open it up the wrong side, the lining side, okay, against the other side. I'll just close it using 1/2 inch all the way down. After which I'll flip it to the right side, okay? After which I'll flip it to the right side and close it. We just have fold it in. I'll just have to fold it in like so, using 1/2 inch, okay? See how it's going to rest, and stitch right there on it till the end of the dress. So I'll do this on this side, while this will be for the other side, okay? I'll open it up like so. At the wrong side, I'll close it, then flip it and fold it in using 1/2 inch and all the way down. Now that I'm done, so at this point, I'm going to fold it in to tally with the folded fabric, okay? And now top stitch on it, okay? After which I'll cut off the excess band, okay, to match with the neckline, like so. Okay. So now I've ironed it out and I'm done with the placket, okay? Look at how neat it is. This is the back, this is the front. This is the front, okay? And here we have the back, and I've ironed it out, okay? So what I'm going to do now is to insert in our dart. Remember we placed dart for it. So I'm going to flip it like so for the back. We came down 16 inches from the shoulder. We inserted our dart. We have 16 inches here, okay? So here we're going to insert our dart at this point. On both sides, we have our dart. So now for the dart, I will look for the center point. Center point of this is at this. So in between the center point, the post to post measurement of my client is 3.5. So I'm going to add 1/2 inch, okay, for joining the dart. That is 4 inch. So I'll mark 4 inch on this point and also mark 4 on the other side. So I'm going to connect this like so. And also here we have the back. So I'll come down from the chest line 1 inch, and chest line is 8. I'll come down here 1 inch, that is 9. So I'll also come down here 1 inch, okay? So from this point, we are going to connect at that. And also from the shoulder, the hip measurement from the shoulder is 24 inches, okay? And here is our 24 inches. And here is the 24 inches. So for my hip, I'm going to come up 2 inch. I'll come up 2 inches. Also on the other side as well. 2 inches. So I'm going to connect our dart to meet at this point, and also our dart to meet at this point. So these are the areas we are going to insert or fix in the dart. So here it is. Also on the other side, we have our dart like so. Okay. So at that waist line, in between, I'll mark ½ inch. Okay. That's for that space. ½ inch on both sides. So I'll take it up like so. And from this point, I'll connect it. Also on the other side. And I'll connect it to this point as well. So this is how I'm going to join it at this point, all the way here and also here, okay? I'll follow the line. I'm going to close it. That's for the back. Then for the front, the same thing applies. Then for the facing, just like the style that we saw earlier, okay? So there is going to be a facing on the front bodice. So all the way from the placket, I've gone ahead and open it up, okay? You can do this before putting in your placket. But even if you join the placket, what I did now is to just have to open it up. So I went ahead and open it up. So from the shoulder, I will determine the length of my facing, okay? So from the shoulder, I'm going to make it 3 inches, okay? For my facing at the shoulder length, is going to be 3 inches, but I'm going to add ½ inch for folding at the side, okay? ½ inch for folding. Then the length of my facing from the shoulder to the below the chest line. This is the chest line. So below the chest line, I'll do that 12, I'll make it 13 inches, okay? Because there's going to be a slant, just like the shape and style that we saw earlier. Here is going to be 3.5, ½ inch for joining. Then the length will be 13 inches, okay? Plus the joining as well. So right now, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use this satin fabric. Okay, so taking on the, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to trace this like so. I'm going to trace the shape of the neck, okay? I'm going to trace it this way. I'm going to trace it like so. And also remember I said the facing will be 3.5 inches, 3.5 inches here. So I'll take it up. So we have 3.5 inches here, like so, okay? Then the the length we say is going to be 13 inches. So all the way from here, so the length will be 13 inches. I'll mark 13 inches and I'll straighten it up. I'll make it a straight line. Okay. So all the way from our neckline, we'll take it down in a straight line. And also here, we'll take it down from this angle in a straight line. Okay, to mark the 3 inches at the shoulder. So that's our armhole, the shoulder, and the length. So the length we said is 13 inches. So what I'm going to do to give it that slant shape, at this side, I'm going to come up. You could make yours, I'll make it 2.5 inches so that it will be obvious. It could be 2 inches, it could be 1 inch, okay? But for mine, I'll be doing 2.5 inches. So I'll connect it like so, from here to, from this point to this point. So it will be in this angle. So I'm going to cut it from here, okay? So I'll cut it now. So this for the facing, okay? So it's going to rest like this on the 2 sides. So I'm going to fix it. What I can do now, I'll fix a paper interfacing, okay? With a paper stay. I'll put an interfacing on it, iron it out, then now fix it on it. Even if you don't want to fix interfacing, you can as well insert it that way. So I'll staple it down with a pin, okay? Just the way you see me doing it. I'll staple it down with a pin, also at the shoulder area. So what I'm going to do now, I'll fold in just using 1/2 inch, okay? Like so, in a straight form. I'm stitch on it, okay? As I'm folding, I'm stitching. So as I'm folding, I'm stitching, okay? Just using 1/2 inch, I'll stitch right there. I'll stitch right there in a straight form. Make sure it is straight, okay? Also at this point, I'll stitch. Then I'll fold it. Also at this point, I'll stitch to the other side, okay? Just like this. That's the only place you are going to work on. So I also do the same like this. I'm going to fold it and stitch. So I'll do this and show us. So now I've joined it and I've also closed the placket as well, okay? I've done this. So what else? And I've also joined the dart. See the dart? This is the one side of the front bodice, and this is the other side. I've closed in the dart, and I've also done the. I've also closed the dart of the back bodice as well. So what I'm going to do now, flip right side facing each other. Right side, okay, facing each other. This will be in this side, while the other will be in the other side, okay? So what else I'm going to do now is to, you can hold it down with a pin, okay, at the shoulder area. So I'll fasten it down with a pin, like so. So I'll fold it down and close it using just 1/2 inch. So I'll close here using 1/2 inch and on the other side using 1/2 inch, okay? So I'm going to do this and also close in using the actual body measurement, okay? So I've held it down at the shoulder area using 1/2 inch. So what I'm going to do now is to mark the actual body measurement, okay? Remember we left 2 inches for seam allowance. 2 inches for seam allowance. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to close it in using the actual 2 inches seam allowance by the side. So see how our blanket is going to rest, okay, on the other side. Let me take the body measurement. So the bust measurement is 35 divided by 2 because it's been folded into 2, the front and the back panel. So what we have here is 17.5, okay? So I'll mark 17.5 here. So I'll check the left over. We have 3 inches here, divided it by 2. So I'll mark 1.5. 3 into 2 is 1.5. I also mark 1.5 on the other side, okay? So also for the waist is 32 into 2. We have 16 inches. So I'll mark 16 inches here, okay? So I'll also check what is left here. We have 4. I'll mark 2 here and also 2 on the other side. So I'll connect it like so, okay, and also connect this like so. Then for the hip is 39 into 2. We have 19.5. That is 19.5. So I'll mark 19.5 here, okay. Then I'll check what we have here is 2.5 into 2. We have 1/4. I'll mark it here, and the other side I'll also mark it here. So I'm going to connect this like so, okay, giving it that shape. I'll also connect this like so. Are you seeing the shape? So I'll take this all the way down and also the other one all the way down, okay, in a straight line. In a straight line. So we have it like this. I've taken it all the way down, okay. So I'm going to stitch it all around and close it and flip it for us to see. So now I've joined the sides, okay. I've joined the 2 sides. See how the color is. The facing, see how the facing is. So what I'm going to do now, I will flip, okay, the bands against each other like so. I'll flip the bottom plackets against each other like so. So I'm going to mark it, the bottom spacing, okay. So 1 space between the other. I will give, because there's going to be a collar. There is a Peter Pan collar here at the neck area. So I'm going to give a space of 1 inch, okay. So here, from here now, a space of 1 inch. So from this point, from this 1 inch, I'll be placing down the bottom spacing. So I would like to, it depends on the spacing you want to. It could be 2 inches spacing, 3, 4, okay. But you don't have to do it in such a way that your inner body will be exposed. So for this tutorial, I'll be making use of 3 inches spacing, okay. So I'll be marking 3 inches. So I have 3, I have 6. So I'm going to stop right there at 30, okay. So I'm just going to elaborate it, make it visible, okay. So at this point, there are the places I'm going to do a button hole. So at this point, we'll have our buttonholes being placed on it, okay. So I'm going to place down our buttonholes on it and also fix the buttons against each buttonhole, okay. So I'll go ahead and fix in the sleeve and also insert in the buttons, okay, and at the same time put in the collar and show us the final look of our dress. Thank you so much guys for watching, okay. Just hit on that subscribe button